today I'm going to be talking about birth preferences. I say birth preferences because nothing ever goes to plan. So you can call it a birth plan if you want to, but I prefer to call it birthing preferences because this is how I would want it to go. Stick around till the end because I really think the point I make about third stage labour is something that no one ever speaks about. Firstly, there's some obvious things I'd say about a birthing preference. One would be keep it on one page. The midwives are less likely to read it if it's pages and pages and pages. You just want basic information at the top. I've got my name, my date of birth, my EDD, my due date, birthplace, my birthing partner, the relationship of the birthing partner to me, and his contact details. That's plain and simple, easy. Pop that at the top. Like how you want the room to look, how you want it to feel, what sounds you want to play. Do you want to play your favourite R&B tracks? On mine, I wanted dim lighting throughout, fairy lights, battery LED candles, hypno music. I wanted to listen to whale music, spa music, that type of thing. And then a diffuser with my oils in it. I used the same oil in my diffuser throughout my whole pregnancy, which was lemongrass. So then I wanted to smell and feel that same aroma throughout labour. So I packed my own diffuser, my own oils, my own fairy lights, my own battery operated candles. I got them in Primark, they were like £2 or something like that. And I made a playlist on my phone for music and took a speaker. If you are having a water birth, do check with your midwife. If you're going to a midwife-led unit, they probably will have all of those things, but if you want to take your own, you can. So this is if you are hooked up to machines or if you don't want to be hooked up to machines, that sort of thing. So for me, where I was looking to have a hypnobirth, I wanted to be monitored as little as possible. I didn't want to endanger the baby or myself at all, but with hypno, I want to be up, I want to be mobile. That encourages labour to come on naturally. I wanted to be walking around if I could. I wanted to be on the birthing ball if I could. And so to do those things, I didn't want to be hooked up to the monitors on a bed. With this, you may have in mind what you are looking to have already. You may have done your research, spoken to your midwife. You may be planning to have an elective C-section. You may have planned to have an epidural. You will probably have a plan in place already. My plan was to not have any pain relief. So I made a note in my preferences that if I want an epidural, I will ask for the epidural. I don't want it to be offered to me. I also made a note that I would like to be offered gas and air. That is something I would like to take, and I would take it if the offer was there. And lastly, I've noted down that I'd like to be reassured. So if I'm doing a good job, then please do reassure me, because reassuring words can go a long way when you're in labour. So this means when you're transitioning from your contractions to established labour. So for me, where I was practicing hypnobirthing, I was taught I'm going to breathe my baby down. She read my birthing preferences and she knew that I didn't want to be told to push the entire way, but it got to a point where she had to tell me this. I also noted that I want myself or my birthing partner, Christopher, to bring the baby up and pop the baby on my chest. So as I had a water birth, it was easiest for me to do it because I was the only one in the water. So I pulled baby out of the water and placed him on my chest. Delayed cord clamping, that was a big one for Christopher and I. We did a lot of research and a lot of the baby's blood and oxygen is still pumping through the placenta for a good 30 minutes after. We decided to do delayed cord clamping. So baby was still attached to the placenta for a good 30 minutes before Christopher cut the cord. We also note that the golden hour is very, very important to us. And so when I say golden hour, I mean skin to skin with mum and dad. And I think that's really important for establishing a bond from early on. This means where you want to be. Do you want to be on a bed? Do you want to be standing up? Do you want to be on all fours? Those types of things. So for me, I wanted to remain mobile throughout if I could. There's a terminology they use in hypnobirthing called UFO, which means upright, forward and open. I did spend a lot of my time in the birthing pool. I'd say majority of my time in the birthing pool. But before I hit the 5 centimetre dilated and was able to get into the birthing pool, I was on the bed, I was upright, holding on to the front of the bed with my legs open, so UFO, upright, forward and open. And then if I needed to take a break, I had my birthing ball with me so I could bounce on that, which also encourages labour. When I was in the birthing pool, I was floating on my back as if I was chilling in a pool in Ibiza for many hours. But when established labour began, I was on my knees, leant on the front of the pool, and the baby came down, because gravity does help when you're in labour, let me tell you. So this means if you are in labour for a long time and then they want to assist you. So for me, I've written, I would rather wait longer than try to rush the process unless the baby is distressed. So for me, that meant if labour is taking a long time, but baby is healthy, I'm healthy, no one's distressed, then I'm happy to just keep going, breathing through my contractions, breathing the baby down, rather than being offered anything to hurry it along. This is the point I made at the start of the video that no one ever speaks about. I mean, it's completely natural, and if you're having a baby, this is going to happen, but people just don't discuss it. Third stage labour is birthing your placenta. Once baby's out, you're probably thinking, oh my God, my job here is done, I'm a mum. But you do have to remember, you need to birth the placenta. That placenta's still got to come out. So for my preferences, I trained in hypno on the build up to having my first baby. I've noted on my birthing preference, if I've had an unassisted birth, then I'd like to birth the placenta without any drugs being introduced into my body. But if birth has been assisted, then the injection is fine and my birthing partner will consent to that. What I'd say about that, in my opinion, is once baby's out, I did have an unmedicated birth, but after 20-25 minutes, I was still in the pool waiting for the placenta to come out naturally. The pool had been drained. The baby was now on Christopher. I was just literally hanging around in an empty birthing pool waiting for the placentas to come away, and it didn't appear to be coming anytime soon. So for me, at that point, after 25-30 minutes, I just requested the injection to induce the placenta coming out. That is something I will be changing for my birthing preference for this baby. I will just be noting if placenta hasn't come naturally after the cord has been cut, then please do administer the injection. This is just a section to pop in any bits that you may feel you really need your midwife to know. For me, I have noted, I'm happy for my baby to be given the vitamin K by injection. This is something all babies are offered at birth, and this is something that we definitely wanted Roman to have. I've noted down that I will be attempting to breastfeed, and I'd like to have some support on this before I get discharged from hospital. So you can note there whether you want support to breastfeed or whether you don't want to be asked about breastfeeding. I've heard a lot of women over the years when they're in hospital and they feel a lot of pressure from midwives to breastfeed. Now, most women will have a plan about how they're going to feed their baby before they go into labour, before they go into hospital. So if your plan is you absolutely don't want to be breastfeeding and you want to bottle feed from the day they're born, note that on your birthing preference. If that's your plan and that's the plan you want to stick to, you don't need any pressure. The last point I'm going to make on my extra info section is, and this is the bouginess in me coming out, but unless you ask, you don't get. So I've put, if I'm admitted to the postnatal ward, I would like a private room if one is available. If you found any of it useful, please do give us a like and subscribe. We are posting constant pregnancy content at the moment, as I don't know if you know, but I'm expecting my second baby. I am 6.5 months pregnant. We've got a baby boy and we're having a baby girl. And if you haven't already followed us on Instagram, you can do so at cl.raisingroman. And just before I go, I'm going to give you a quick bump date.